One of the most scariest prophecies has now officially come true. Just take a look at this. The birds of the skies are now officially giving us a warning that there is something terrible that's gonna happen in the world right now. And as we know, this is like a swarm of birds. Look at this stuff. The entire skies are filled with ravens and crows and birds just panicking. So this stuff is happening currently in the United States, right as we speak about all the wars that's currently taking place. And apart from this, what's even more terrifying is that there is a massive swarm of locusts, which is especially mentioned in the Bible, which will happen right before the end times, before the second coming of Jesus Christ. These things are literally mentioned in the chapter Revelation. And right now, take a look at what's currently happening in America, as well as in Europe, and you're just going to be mind blown right here.
As 160 million creatures per square mile are devouring entire towns, and we won't get another warning about this. People were terrified after the UN issued an emergency alert for all across North Africa, as swarms of locusts were so dense that they were darkening the sky, covering roads, cities, and farmland, with the book of Exodus warning that God will send locusts that covers the face of the earth during the beginning of his judgment.
So this is basically happening right now in Africa, and apparently all of that locust is basically traveling towards America and Europe. So these locusts are supposedly eating up all the crops that they've been having and growing for years together in Africa.
As much food in a day as what 35,000 humans eat in a day, with drivers unable to see through their windshield as millions swarm across highways in seconds, with the Food and Agriculture Organization warning the swarms are breeding and could grow 400 times larger and spread rapidly in just a few months. As the swarm has already crossed from Africa into Europe just this week, with no signs of slowing down. And the last time this happened, they crossed the entire Atlantic Ocean and hit the Americas in 5 days.
Now that, to be honest, is something that we should definitely be concerned about, because as far as what we have read from the Bible, we know that there are going to be multiple seals that are going to be opened until the seventh seal before the second coming of Christ. Now, if you have been seeing what's going on in the world with the kind of wars and rumors of wars, and obviously right now there is no longer rumors because Israel, America, Iran, and so many other nations are currently at war, and this could literally turn into something that we have always been trying to avoid for all these years. But it seems like the days are finally outnumbered, because as of now, we know that there is a massive lunar eclipse which is coming up, and during this eclipse, right when all the war is currently going on, it turns out that the moon is going to turn blood red in color on March 3rd, which is the day I'm recording this video. So today, if you go out and watch the moon at 3:30 a.m., it's basically going to be red in color. Now, this is going to happen in America as well as in Europe. So people out there, they're going to be able to witness this whole thing happening. Now, the last time this happened, we already saw that there were massive wars happening between Iran and Israel. But right now, the war has just scaled up to a whole new level. And once again, we're getting this red blood moon, which obviously is something that has already been mentioned in the Bible, in the chapter Revelation, as well as in Romans prophecy, Daniel's prophecy, Revelation's prophecy. All of these things have already prophesied that there will be red blood colored moon, which will occur right before the second coming of Christ. And before that happens, there will be a lot of signs. One of the major signs is that the world will be at unpeace, and there will be rumors of wars and actual wars happening and taking place all around the world. And right now, this is the scene of what's actually going on. This is like a footage from a beach. Just take a look at how scary this whole movement actually looks like. They're firing off missiles. There's jet flying over. You never know what the hell is actually going on. And right now, people in Israel, in Jerusalem, are running for their lives. Like, take a look at this stuff. There is some massive outbreaking of battles that are being fought right now, and this could eventually turn out to be something that we've always been trying to avoid. The word which I don't really want to say because YouTube doesn't take those words very lightly, so I want to avoid those words, but you guys know what it is. And this is currently what's going on around the world, and I think we are officially entering the final days of judgment. Because as of now, as I'm making this video today, there are 10 plus countries that have officially entered the war. And those countries are obviously Iran, United States, and Israel. The whole battle started between these three, and then it moved on to Yemen, Bahrain, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Qatar, UAE, and Kuwait. Now, there are more people joining in because recently we just got some latest updates stating that China has also started supplying Iran, and Russia is also supplying Iran with much more missiles and many firepowers which they could defend themselves and also attack other nations and also attack their enemies. So things are getting really heated up, and it definitely seems like the entire world is going to start getting into this whole battle. I think you guys should definitely take a look at this clip right here.
The US-Iran war is widening fast. What started as a conflict between three countries has now dragged a staggering 13 into the fallout.
Wow.
And today
It's 13
marked a
now.
major escalation because Iran struck UK military bases in Cyprus, meaning for the first time this war has now officially touched European territory. Now, in response, the UK has authorized the United States to use its military bases to help destroy Iran's missile systems, and a member of the European Parliament for Cyprus is already calling for action.
Cyprus is an EU territory, and one attack on a member state should be considered as an attack to the entire European Union. We want and we expect a united response from the entire European Union.
And that wasn't the only development today. Lebanon has now been dragged into this conflict as well after Hezbollah launched strikes on Israel in solidarity with Iran. Meanwhile, Qatar and Saudi Arabia were pulled in a pretty major way after a number of their energy facilities were hit. Qatar, which supplies around 20% of the world's liquefied natural gas, they were forced to suspend their operations. And the same goes for Saudi.
So this basically means that the gas prices are just going to reach all-time high, like we have never seen before. That's what's going to happen, and this basically means that we have officially entered the war state.
This oil refinery had to temporarily halt production after a large fire broke out. And then there's NATO. We got their comments for the first time after their Secretary General called Iran a threat to Europe, Israel, and the wider region, saying Europe is really stepping up after this weekend's operations. But when asked if NATO forces would get involved in this situation, he made it pretty clear. He said this is
clearly a campaign led by Americans and the Israelites. So this is said by what we are seeing now is the allies, wherever they can enable the United States campaign together with Israel, they're doing that.
And Israel. So for now, NATO is staying out of it. But of course,
that's a pretty good decision as of now. And to be honest, man, this is the current state of what's going on in UAE. Look at the people out there. It's 1:25 in the morning. And everybody's out there in the streets. They're terrified of what's going to happen, where the bombs are going to be dropping from. And, you know, this is one of the most terrifying situations that you can ever live in. There's also a mother that actually films where she basically lives in an apartment and she starts hearing a missile. Just take a look at this. Hear that sound. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Look at that thing. The panel just came off. That is scary. Imagine living in this location right now. If you're living in Dubai or living somewhere in the UAE or Israel or Iran, it's going to be terrifying. Look at the sound, dude. That sounds scary. Oh, man. You never know where it's gonna fall, right? That is scary as F. Now, there's something very concerning when it comes to one of the most scariest prophecies in the Bible, because all the things that we've been seeing so far, from the locust being formed, they're basically consuming all the crops all across Africa, and it's moving towards South America, and it's also moving towards America and Europe. So this basically means that there is a major problem that's currently heading. We never know when it's going to be reaching both of these regions, but obviously one or the other day it's going to be there. With all of the war stuff that's happening right now, it definitely seems like the prophecies are officially being fulfilled. And what's important here is that you should actually take a look at Exodus chapter 10, which basically refers to locust, which will be coming up right before the end times, where it basically states that future prophecies at the time. Now, this event establishes the locust as a biblical symbol of total divine judgment, where God is going to be judging us humans with the help of locusts, where it's going to be eating up everything that's out there in the world, where we humans are going to suffer with no food in the future. Now, in Revelation chapter 9, verse 3 to 11, it very clearly mentions that John describes the locusts rising from the bottomless pit. However, these are supernatural. They have the sting of a scorpion, hair like woman, and teeth like lions. Rather than eating plants, they are prophesied to torment people who are not have the seal of God. So it basically means that people who are not protected by the seal of God are going to be tormented by these creatures that are going to come out of the bottomless pit. And as of now, we've already seen what's going on. We know that there's a massive swarm of these locusts.
And we won't get another warning about this. People were terrified after the
look at that stuff. Just take a look at this stuff.
All across North Africa.
That is scary. I'm not even going to lie.
That they were darkening the sky, covering roads, cities, and farmland.
And apart from this, we also have birds that are giving us signs regarding the end times. No, I don't think it can get any worse than this, because right now, everything about the nature is basically screaming that a world is coming to an end. And what's even more interesting about this prophecy, with the latest eclipse that's coming up and the red moon, it's actually going to surprise you even more, because you guys should take a look at this one right here.
The amount of coincidences that align with this lunar eclipse are literally impossible. So this lunar eclipse will reach its peak at 3:33 a.m. on March 3rd. That just happens to be the first day of the celebration of Purim. A celebration from when the Hebrews were spared from Persia, which is modern-day Iran.
It's Iran.
Shut up. And what's about to happen right now with Iran? And of course, Iran is allegedly holding Americans hostage now. The Bank of America mural. We know that Trump was born on a lunar eclipse, on a blood moon. We know that Trump is, in fact, the...
So this was indeed a fact, that Trump was actually born during the blood moon lunar eclipse. So that was the day he was actually born. I've also read about the stuff in a previous article and a news article as well. I think Trump himself was actually mentioning this stuff, that he was born during the blood moon.
Moonchild. And they're saying he'll make his attack by Monday.
And speaking of this moonchild, they're now saying that they're entitled to run for another term. Remember when he said, like, you beautiful Christians, just vote this last time and you won't have to do it ever again? What was that about?
Monday being the day of this lunar eclipse and also the day of Purim. And remember, Purim, again, the celebration of the Hebrews not being annihilated by Persia or Iran. To top it off, we have articles coming out saying they're so sure an earthquake happened the day of Jesus'
That is massive.
We just had like 5 earthquakes in South Carolina. Not normal. Of course, mud volcanoes going off everywhere, 2 or 3 already. The earth shaking everywhere, the human frequency being crazy, of course. The output of the mass and density in our environment because these celestial movements. And guess what? It gets even crazier. I mentioned the articles about the earthquake at the crucifixion. Well, also, they say that Jesus was crucified on April 3rd, 33 AD. And the eclipse, which was recorded by Gongwu, the Chinese emperor, like hundreds of...
So right when Jesus was crucified, there was also a very similar eclipse, which is happening right now. There was the exact same eclipse, which also took place right when Jesus was crucified. And this was scientifically proven as well. I'm going to make another video about this whole thing. I'm going to dive deep into the entire crucifixion topic and how the scientific research and all that stuff. They basically found out that there was a massive earthquake, and there was also this eclipse that took place in this particular time.
Thousands of miles away from Jesus, the crucifixion, where he wrote that yin-yang switch, there's an eclipse, and that one man died for the sins of all of humanity. Everything is coming together perfectly right now.
Now, genuinely speaking, man, I think we are officially now entering the final days. It basically seems like all the signs around the world are setting up to the second coming of Christ. And I think we should definitely start getting ready. If you're a Christian, start reading your Bibles, start repenting for all the sins that we've done. And we need to get close to God as soon as possible. Because everything that's going on in the world right now, it doesn't look normal. These things are definitely coming extremely close to, and also representing what the scriptures of the Bible has already prophesied are the things that are going to be happening right before the second coming of Christ. So that's going to make things even more interesting, because all the things that we're seeing right now is exactly as it was already prophesied. So we need to be extremely aware of the situation right now. And I think every single one of you guys should go ahead and share this video with your loved ones, with your family and friends, people that you want to waken up and see what's really going on in the world, so that they can know that these are indeed the prophecies that are currently coming true, that has already been written 2,000 years ago in the Bible. And also, so please make sure to go ahead and share this video. And if you can't really share the video, the best thing you guys can do is simply just go ahead, drop a big fat like on this video, and also leave any sort of comment. You can also share any word of God. So this basically triggers the YouTube algorithm to push this video to more people. So if there are more comments and more likes on a video, it's going to basically push the video to more people. And if you guys want to stay updated with all these things, where I keep you guys updated on everything that's going on around the world, which includes the prophecies, Bible, in spiritual study with prophecies, Bible, and also as much archaeological evidence that we can basically find regarding the existence of Bible and the scripture itself. So all of these things are basically covered right here on the Wood Show podcast. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe, turn the notifications on. It's absolutely free. Of course, you don't really have to pay a dime in order to be a subscriber on YouTube. That's the best part about YouTube. So make sure to go ahead, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, I really want to hear what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Let me know. What are your opinions as we are finally entering the end times right before the second coming of Christ? Leave your opinions down below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Till then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.